Why, hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hello, darling.
Hello, hello. Let me just make sure this is where it should be. Much better. Oh, look at there. There's Mr. Felix Garcia. Hola, mi amigo. ¿Qué pasa? And that was effective. Thank you. I'm so glad you're there to have that moment with me.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't think he can hear you.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. It's called marital deafness. I slept with Felix for almost 2 years. You would think you know my name by now. I'm just saying. Jesus loves you, but everybody else thinks you a hoe. Anyway. We're going live on Facebook now.
Great.
Woohoo! I don't want my producer.
I think.
Try my producer. Let's see what it does. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Go live. Go live. Fabulous.
Hey, Jacob, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, hold on. I was having trouble with audio.
Yeah, you actually got to plug it in. Does that help?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I do my best.
Coming from you, anything coming from you like that, you don't want to really hear. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. I'm glad you could join us today.
Doing fantastic. Enjoying being here.
Well, this is going to be fun. I can guarantee you one thing. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be polite. It's not going to be appropriate, but it will be fun. So, here we go. Hello, Carlos. He's like, we can't hear you, but there you are. I hear you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. Welcome.
Good,
Just
how's
give
everything?
everybody a few more minutes just to get in here. It's great. I had half as that. Hi, Marlon. How are you?
How are your kids?
There. I'm sorry. I saw a whole lot of Marlon for a moment there, and I got distracted. You do know he did like parkour, right? So he has muscles in weird places. Like he could bench press with his tongue or something. I don't know.
Wow.
So speaking of people who can bench press his tongue, hello there, Nelson. How are you?
Bench press with my tongue?
I mean, you're a personal trainer. I don't know. And Felix is married to a personal trainer, so nasty. I'm a savage. Boom. Classy,
Nasty.
bougie, ratchet. Oh. Okay. Pull it in and clap. Yeah. We've had a couple TikTok battles that house. Love you too. So people start showing up here in a second, Felix. So we're just gonna give them a minute to come on in. Let's see how we're doing on Facebook. Did I put up there? Okay, we're actually live. Hello, Melissa and Teresa. Good to see you. Sylvia, Faye, hi. They're all over there. So we're waving. Okay, go ahead and give it a like on Facebook so I know that you guys are alive. That's right. Melissa, Sylvia, Teresa, Faye, all of you here, give it a like. You're good to go. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Today's extra special guest star is Mr. Felix Garcia. Say hello, Mr. Felix Garcia.
What's going on, Jacob? Good to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to just come and just hang out with your friends and just impart some wisdom, hopefully.
Well, coming from you, let's hope it's wisdom. We never know.
All right.
We don't know where it's going to go from. I don't want to give anybody any false expectations here. So Felix and I used to work together, and I always loved how he spoke. We have a very similar background, actually. He and I have a very, you can tell from the two of us that we look and act just alike. Look at this, right? So, night and day. We have a very similar background as far as our religious upbringing. He went to the university that I was supposed to go to. He actually used to drive my aunt's bus on her praise and worship team. So we're like, that's crazy. So we'll see how all that goes. So Felix, we're going to be talking today about about your journey from being a real estate investor, and now you decided to get a real estate license, where I had my license and became a real estate investor. So you're going to get a little bit of both things here. So I think everybody, they usually join a little bit later. They're going to come on. A lot of them are watching. Hello, Dorothy, Wade, Sarah. They'll join in eventually. So let's go ahead and start by introducing yourself, Felix. Tell us who you are, what you do, why you do it, all that stuff.
And basically, just a little bit about myself. I could summarize it in one small sentence: is I solve real estate problems. That's basically what I do, and I love doing it. A little background, like Jacob mentioned, like many of you, trying to always improving your financial well-being. You know, I hopes and dreams of doing a little better, like everyone else. And you know, about 12 years ago, started learning how to invest, and you know, little things started to progress and started making money. You know, I wasn't rolling in the dough, but I was making good income. So something that was sustainable, but it also was a lot of work. And transitioning, I've gotten able to travel and share my experience with investing. And that's what I started out doing, in this investing. I'm good in the financial markets. I actually know how to trade stocks, but my bread and butter is real estate. That's what I love doing. I love, now that I love taking ugly houses and making them beautiful, but I also enjoy helping people obtain a house and making new memories. That's what I love doing now. So anything that's involved in real estate, I love, and I hope to kind of just share a little bit about and maybe answer any questions that you guys may have.
And they have plenty, because for so long they have heard, you know, don't use a real estate agent if you're a real estate investor. But you actually
Okay.
decided to become a real estate agent, although you were already investing. So how many
Okay.
deals had you done before you became a real estate agent? As an investor,
Well,
how many deals have you done?
as an investor, I was
Mhm.
averaging about 2 to 4 deals per year. So it was either flips, or it would be like a combo of a few wholesale deals and lease options. So I was basically, I 2 to 5 deals per year was my average. I was doing that for about since 2008. And so I already had like some experience. I wouldn't say that I knew everything, but I knew as an investor, like, you know, it's basically like how I mention it to most of the people. What I try to do as an investor is that I'm trying to buy a Louis Vuitton purse, but I'm trying to buy it at a TJ Maxx price. How do you find that? And as most realtors have a hard time doing it, because once you buying properties in the MLS, it's already too late. Most of the meat is already out of that bone. What's left to you is like small stuff. So I got into real estate as a form, as an investor, from those I buy houses on the side of the road that you see from, to having decals on my car like I buy houses cash, you know, some mailers to foreclosures, through all type of stuff, you know. So I basically, you know, just had more the approach of the investor side. So I'm always looking at a discount. Where do the best school districts are? Where do I want to flip? Where do I want to wholesale? Where do I want to do lease options? So as an investor, that gave me that approach, that insight. Now, as an agent, you know, Jacob, you and I heard all those horror stories that most agents don't know much. And a lot of it is true. Not all agents, and that you have a good 20, you know, a 20 to 30% that are really, really, really good. I've worked with a few, I mean, like agents that are just rock stars, but they also have an investor mentality. They understand numbers. So you can merge the investor and the realtor side, but you also have to know who are you marketing to. So like, for an example, I market to like sellers to try to get listings as I would a wholesale deal. For an example, if I was an investor, I'll be putting up signs saying I buy houses cash. While as a realtor, I'll put stuff like, if I can't sell your home, I'll buy it cash, guaranteed. Call me for details. And that's what I've been doing lately. So, you know, I learned the approach on it's almost like an approach about how to get, you know, like investor and realtor, you can merge the two. And it's actually a beautiful thing. Because as an investor, I don't work on my flips. I have a crew. So that allows me time to look at other properties. And as a realtor, you're always looking at properties anyway. So you can kind of merge the two. I pick and choose what I want to do, what I don't want to do. And I try to, you know, give a little balanced approach of, okay, what's worth my time? where could I make more money? Could I make more money on a flip, or could I make more money showing houses? Now, most of the time it's going to be a flip, but you also want to set yourself up throughout the year for showing houses, because if you could pick up another $75,000 to $150,000 a year as a realtor, then you can always, that is extra income that's coming in. Does that make sense?
For me, it makes complete sense. What I love is when I go, it's just another way of creating another stream of income in real estate. So you can either go as a licensed agent, you typically come up with a listing presentation when someone finally calls you saying that they want to sell their house. Now they're wanting to sell it retail typically. And you show up to the house, you say, okay, listen, I could sell your house right now, doing my CMA, my comparative market analysis. It says your house is worth $400,000. I can sell it today for $400,000. It's going to stay on the market for about 4 months, and you'll probably get about $360,000 for it. Okay, cool. Now, if you want to go through that, that's fine. But if you wanted to hold on to it because you're not really in a hurry, you might be able to sell it for $400,000. It's going to stay on for about 6 months, maybe 8. If you want to get rid of it quickly, you'll have to put a fire sale into it. Or if you want to get more money, you're going to put more into the deal. You're going to upgrade that property. So depending on what you want to do. So if you got to replace your roof, or you got to replace your kitchen, or you got to replace the electrical, that's more money out of your pocket to bring it up to standard, right?
Correct.
So one of the things agents do when they get to their listing presentations, they go and they look around the home and they just take a look and see, okay, if you do this, this, and this to get the home ready, you will actually get this money that you're looking for. Like you're going to get the $400,000, but you're going to spend $30,000 to do it. But if you want to move out today, if you want this done, you don't have to worry about the remodel and then the days on market, because all that time adds up and they need to move. Well, if you want to do it today, I have buyers who buy this as is, cash, and we can close in the next 30 days. They'll take care of all the repairs and all the maintenance, everything that goes with it. What is the best price that you're willing to give them? And then you put it onto them.
You cut out, the connection cut out in the last 5 seconds of what you just said.
Oh, so I said, so knowing that they can close in the next 3 days cash, they'll take care of all the repairs. What's the best price you can give them? And then they start to talk.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So it just gives them more options. And if it doesn't work out, we can list the property. No problem.
I'm telling you, Jacob, if most people approach like a realtor as being a wholesaler, it's basically the same thing. Nothing really changes. Now, the one thing is, the key is, like most realtors always have to be a lookout, is what type of brokerage are you working for? Because you have certain brokerages that are very strict on, okay, we don't want you doing that. Stay away from this. As an investor, I'm lucky enough that I work at a brokerage where they allow me to do certain things that's not conventional. And that's where I like where I'm at, because I can be an investor / put on another hat as a realtor. Just like a few minutes before we started to Zoom, I have an addendum that I had a client just come in and sign, and it's the 4th addendum. And this person, it's a agent's dream. This person is just one of the persons that has such a great attitude about wanting to get their first home. They've been working, saving, and we've been working hard on getting this deal closed. So, there's certain things as an agent that I'm like, wow, I'm helping someone get a home. And you see how much you affect people, how much emotionally, like now that kids can play in the backyard. They don't have to live somewhere where there's shootouts. That's the stuff that I love about being an agent, man. It's just helping people get what they want.
So you feel like your knowledge of investing has actually helped you as you transition to being an agent?
Because it allows me to reach a whole broad type of people. For an example, I work with investors, but I know their language. So, like for an example, yesterday at 10:30, I had a meeting with an investor who was looking for an agent that understood what they were doing. As a person who flips, As a person who does investing, I know how to work with investors. And this is the biggest key that many people have to understand. And at least as an agent and as even an investor, whatever you are, it is so much easier to be a person of abundance, meaning this. I share my people around, wholesalers, other agents, I share their stuff, especially if I'm friends with them. You know, I'm always in. I don't see myself more than an agent or an investor. It's like I'm a connector. I'm connecting people, you know, to helping them achieve their dreams. And as an agent slash investor or whatever you are, if you're an investor and you want to be an agent, and you want a realtor just wanting to be an investor, you know, it's about helping people and it's serving humanity and helping people get what they want. So, you know, it's a different approach, but you can merge the two. But some folks that get stuck on either or, you know, and I've seen both sides of the spectrum where agents and then, you know, investors. So, but when you merge two, they need to work together.
So what are some of the things that you notice that you have to do differently if you are involved in a transaction and you're acting as an investor while you're an agent?
You know, much doesn't really change. Only I disclose that I'm an agent, especially when I'm about to sign documents and stuff like that. I disclose I'm an agent, but nothing really changes. I mean, you know, you get all these people that make this big deal. No, it's just wording. How do you present yourself? And, you know, you don't do anything that's misleading. You're always upfront with the people. That you are operating as an investor in this capacity, but you also are a licensed agent, but you're not operating in that capacity. So, you know, you just disclose. It's actually very simple. It's not as hard as many people think.
Mm-mm.
So, you know, you could wear different hats.
What I recommend people do, for example, Felix mentioned wholesale a second ago. For those of you who are new to the lingo, wholesale just means that you are putting your property under contract, you are acquiring rights to that contract, and you're selling rights to that contract. You do not own the property, very, very clearly. Wholesaling also means you do not have a fiduciary responsibility to anybody because you are not licensed. And if you are not a fiduciary, that means it's not an arm's length transaction. Now, as an agent, you are conducting yourself in an arm's length transaction, which means I am an arm's length away from the interest of this project, of this opportunity, of this property. Does that make sense? So if you are an agent and you decide you come across the property that you want to wholesale, because again, if you're licensed and you're marketing correctly, you actually come across the deals before anybody else. So the best way to get about doing that, and every state is slightly different, but you have one thing that's called a net listing. A net listing is not legal in every state. It is legal here in Florida, but it is highly discouraged, mostly because people don't know it. You can have a net exclusive right of sale listing, and those are the best ones for you. We love that. So in a net listing, it says, okay, if you want to sell your house for $400,000, that's your bottom line. You want to get anything above and beyond that, I can keep. Awesome. So if I sell your house for $500,000, that $100,000 can come to me in a net listing. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if you are going to be an agent and you decide to go buy a property and you're doing something like a wholesale transaction, you need to have them sign, that your sellers sign a non-representation agreement. So therefore, they understand that this is not an arm's length transaction. You're dealing one-on-one. There's no space between either party. And now they do not have, I no longer have a fiduciary responsibility to the homeowner. Does that make sense? There are a couple states like Idaho that are not fiduciary. Their agents are not fiduciary, but most other states are fiduciary. What does being a fiduciary mean? Anybody?
Being honest.
It is honest. What else? Anyone?
That Go ahead.
Looking out for their best financial interests.
Correct. Ahead of your own. Mm-hmm. So you have someone else's interests ahead of your own. Marie, you look so good right now. What, did you do something different to your hair?
I chopped it.
That's what. I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I was like, awesome. So yes, you keep someone else's interests ahead of your own. So you have to act in integrity and honesty and fairly. Okay, that's actually one of the roles. Those are the three things every agent has to do: honesty, integrity, and fair. Those are the three things, no matter what type of representation we have to do. We have to be honest, integral, integral and fair. Integral. We have to have integrity. So if I decide to go to my listing presentation, I decide I want to buy the house as an agent. I disclose that I'm an agent. I had to have them sign a non-representation agreement. Boom. Now I can go ahead and buy the home, put it under contract. Then I can go ahead and sell the contract as either a net listing or buy it myself. Make sense? Follow me? Okay. I've got like 3 agents in here, so I want to make sure they're all following along. Okay. So Grace, Felix, when you started doing investing, what was your first deal like?
Okay. One of the first deals that I started doing was actually lease options. So basically when I started, it was during the what you call the crash or the downturn of the last bubble we had in the real estate, which is around that 2009, 2008, 2009, 2010 area. And many people couldn't sell their homes. As an investor, with not much credit being extended at that time, many people remember not many people were extending credit to folks. You had to be very creative. This is a part again about when you're an agent, you're limited to a lot of thinking, or most agents are limited to the thinking on how creative you can be. As an investor, I was able to do many deals that were either lease options, that I was taking over people's payments, a technique called subject twos. Basically, I was just taking their payments over. But a lot of lease options, what I was doing is dealing with houses that were upside down, they couldn't sell, and you had people that were pretty much underwater on many of those properties. So I was able to take those properties, help the people that were living there actually make a small profit. And also I was able to make something for myself as putting together, structuring the deal, but also putting a new owner inside the property. So lease option is one of my first strategies that I did off the gate. And then from there, I started moving into wholesale, then started working with different seller financing. Then I started getting into flipping, and then started working into little dabbling, like in 2016, started dealing with land development, and you know, as a wholesaler, you was getting properties, and I was getting different type of properties, and it had to be like large tracts of land, and you know, just start learning stuff through the years. You have other people. Luckily I had other investors that were doing these deals that I was able to lean on. And Jacob was one of the ones, you know, that I met a few years ago that I was actually able to help. And just, you know, being an investor has helped me as a realtor, just really help people think outside the box on how to be creative in a deal. Like as a realtor, I mean, for how many of you that are realtors, how many of you get phone calls all the time about people who want to buy a house but have terrible credit? I mean, can't get them financing, but they have jobs. Or in my case, I do a lot of advertising to the Hispanic community. You get a lot of people that have money, some money, they have jobs but have no social. So being creative as far as working with other investors who I can merge investor, and as a realtor, I could bring in them people, which is totally different than what most realtors do, because it's mostly investors that do that. So a lot of the investors that I work with love that you know, I think like they do, and it's just a privilege to do that and work with other investors.
Do you take
any
a
of
part
you
of
guys
the
got
equity of the
questions
deal?
for me?
Do you take a part of any of the equity of the deal when you actually do that?
Say that again.
Do you take a part of the equity or the cash flow in those deals?
In which type of deals?
When you bring the parties together, when you bring the buyers and you bring the investor together, how do you get compensated? Do you just do a commission, or do you take a part of the equity in the transaction?
Well, all of them are different. I've done both, but mostly like I'll get a fee from the transaction, mostly like a transaction fee. But on the equity, I usually do structure those on my own lease options. With most of the landlords that I've worked with now, I've just taken a fee, and because I have my own investment, so you know, I feel good with those. So you know, you kind of try to like balance stuff out. You know, like take a little here, make a little there, but then you be working with those same investors longer down the road. So, I try not to eat my profit there.
So anyway, so when you're looking at that, like, it's like making turnkey landlords. That's one of the things that's what I love about being a residential agent, being a real estate agent or broker, is if you're able to get the buyers and the sellers together, because oftentimes people are looking for a turnkey property. Say, okay, listen, I've done this part for you. Come on in. It's a 5-year transaction. You can take the cash flow, and on the back end, I take the equity. That's fine. They sign the mortgage. They have to sign on the. They have to qualify for the mortgage, and they put down the 20% down, which is what they do anyway. And when you sell the profit, and when you sell on the back end, the equity would be mine, or we split it. So that's one way of doing it. If they want me to manage the property, then I get a property management fee, and I also get the sale of the property as a commission. So there are different ways to go about structuring it. Different streams of income per transaction you can actually exercise if you're licensed. So when anybody tells you not to get licensed as a real estate professional, tell them, thank you very much. That's great for you. What you need to do is start your business and let your business dictate what you're going to do, right? You don't need everybody else's opinion. That's the thing I came across, and that's what annoyed me. No, don't get your license. Well, I already had my license. I wasn't going to get rid of it. I had some people tell me to get rid of it, including attorneys. And I'm like, no, this is absolutely a stream of income, and people work together for this. Why would I want to get rid of this? So use your license. If you're already starting in investing, just do what you're doing. Do what Felix did. Start off with wholesale, do some lease options, get your business under your belt, get the systems built so you can keep doing it, network around the area, make yourself known as an investor in the area like Felix did. So when you get your license, guess what? Now you're the investor's agent.
Absolutely.
And it makes a totally different relationship. But do not go and get your license as a way of procrastinating getting your business started. Understand? I'm going to make sure I see everybody's face. I want you to shake your head. Do you understand that? Nelson, Hector, Liz, Michael. All I see is your name. You better be shaking your head. Probably didn't brush his teeth yet. Marlon, Derek, you guys got, I don't see you guys. Guilty at times. I know, baby. Now, do not procrastinate. Guys, your business will tell you when it's appropriate for you to get your license. It will tell you you don't need to be licensed right away, but you need to have a licensed agent on your team to protect you, okay? Wonderful, I'm glad we covered that. Let's see, does anybody have any questions so far before we go on? There are 3 other agents on this phone call. You better have some questions. Unless I've trained them so well already.
No, I mean, my issue, at least in the state of Florida, not so much when I'm talking to someone in another state, but in Florida, we've always taught you have to disclose upon first contact. So I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Pamela Kramer. I'm a realtor at Century 21 Tennis. I can't not tell them. And, when I was calling North Carolina, I would work it into the conversation, very clearly stating that I'm down in Florida. I'm not a realtor up there. So
Hey, Jacob.
That's the thing that I've always been hung up on.
It's confusing, isn't it?
Hey, Jacob.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I normally don't, when I'm working as an investor, until I'm going to sign something, I normally don't disclose. Because this is the thing. Having a conversation with someone is not a crime. Having just a simple, hey, what are you asking for your home? That's not a crime. So, where it starts getting into the wording, if you're going to sign a contract and you're going to sign an agreement, then, be like, hey, I'm buying this as myself, but I have to disclose that I'm a licensed agent. I don't think you have to get that, say it right off the bat. So, I think it's just, and I hope I understood you correctly. Like every time you say it, it's like it is a drawback. Is that correct, or did I misunderstood?
Well, it's sort of a drawback for me. I don't want, but I want them to know who they're talking to.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in the state of Florida, what it actually says is that when the conversation actually moves into detail, like when it becomes a serious conversation, then you disclose. But preliminary, just chit chat, you do not have to disclose. It's just when things start looking that they're going to go somewhere, you need to disclose. Where that is a very vague line. But I always disclose anyway. I'm like, listen, I'm an investor and I thought it was best for me to get my license. So yes, I am here asking about your property, but I'm looking at it for my own interest. I'm not looking at it for a listing. That's what I do. Then they kind of like put their heckles down. It's like, yeah, well, I'm a professional. So there you go. And most investors aren't professional. Most investors they look at are wanting to go and lowball them. So that's what's different. You got to get them to take their guard down because you want to tell them, listen, I'm not here to offer you a low price for your property. I just want to do what's best by you and your property. And so I could either act as a fiduciary and list your property in the buying and selling of the home, or I could buy the property from you and we can make this a win-win situation and close in 30 days. Which one's best for you? I don't buy every property I come across, but I do want to help every person I come across. And it just throws them off guard. Plus, it's also the truth. Are we not trying to help people with real estate problems?
Yes.
It was a pop question, everybody. Oh, Lord. Everyone's having a hard time thinking today. Did you take half a Xanax too? Anyway. So, Felix, how did you find your broker? How did you determine to work with the broker you're working for?
Actually, I had a friend that they were a realtor, and they recommended me the brokerage. And one of my college roommates, he was actually at one time an agent when he first started at this brokerage. So by two different friends, I got recommended the same brokerage. It was the only brokerage I went to. I kind of went, sat down, talked to them, had a good interview. I actually showed them what I did, explained, hey, this is what I've been doing, showing like my credibility sheet kind of thing. These are my investments that I have. Do you guys accept someone like me in here? And I was kind of, they loved it that I invest. And good to know that a lot of them invested in here and were actually pretty much, they were really very creative in how they finance stuff. I was like, okay, these folks not only walk the walk, but they talk the talk too. They're agents, but they also invest. So I pretty much fit in here like a glove, man. It's the weirdest thing to say. And then I got my license actually, as just to have it. And it's kind of, I've been doing more of this since the COVID-19, just started sparking up, and it's been fun. I've gotten to know many good people, and it's a little community out here. And most people, there's always going to be people in every industry that you don't vibe with. But if you take the approach as being the type of realtor that helps people, if you take that approach about, okay, there's an abundance mentality, because this is the thing, even as an investor, I can't handle every deal. So if you show yourself as a realtor, as a connector, if someone's asking for, electrician, you're one of the first ones to answer those questions. Hey, I know such and such. You gotta involve yourself. You gotta be plugged in where people know that you're not just there for the commission breath. That you're not there for the commission check, because people could sense that. And as a realtor, when people know that all you care about is that check, they can smell it from you. But when they know your intentions are, okay, I want to serve, I want to help these people, people could feel that. And that's why I try to implore you guys that whatever you guys do, I don't know, I know there's many walks of life here and people that are watching later on this broadcast, but you really just, if your job is to help people get what they want. And when you help people, Zig Ziglar said that when you help people get what they want, you get what you want. And it's about serving people and connecting people. And you'll see that when your team grows as connection, your sphere, your whatever they call it, your sphere of influence, you're able to grow and make more money. But don't have that, okay, I'm a realtor in this big world and I'm by myself. You got to open yourself up to help, to collaborate and answer people's questions. I mean, I try to get involved with just asking people's opinion. I know my own opinion. I don't need to know people to tell me what to pick colors on a paint. I know what I'm gonna pick, but I give people options. So just give them options, but I know which one I'm gonna pick. But but it's just starting conversation, being yourself. If you're funny, be funny. If you're goofy, be goofy. If you're Jacob, be Jacob.
That's right.
If you're quiet, just be quiet. Just be who you are. People really love when the authentic you comes about. And that's why, as a realtor, they want to know the real you, because people buy from who they know, like, and trust. And if they could relate to you as a person, they could relate to you as like, hey, I wouldn't mind having a beer with this person. That's a good feeling, and people will always gravitate to you. So as the realtor side, just start just serving people. You'll get clients in no time. And if stuff is slowed down, stuff is going to start picking back up. So
We're starting to see it pick up here.
Jacob.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. You always have wonderful insight. So how many other investors are agents in your office? Or do you know it in your market?
In my office, I have 3 that are brokers, but they also invest. And then agents, I have about 4 that invest. But I'm like the only one. Me and another agent are the only ones that really flip and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a pretty big agency. It's not huge. It's not the biggest one in town, but it's got some good, about 25 people in the office. Mm-hmm. So that's a good, you got a good investor group in there within that 25. So
that's a surprisingly large number. I don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know a lot of other agencies that you can have 100 people in there and maybe 3 invest. That's not uncommon. That is not uncommon. What we're doing. So that's why, like I said, I felt at home here, and I fit like a glove here, because you have other people that also invest. Because it's that people feel that, and people really sense when you really care. And if your clients, and if you're an agent, if you're an investor, whatever it is, you're gonna have to use social media. If people can really sense that you really care and your intentions are to really help people, your business will grow. Why? Because your heart is in the right place. And right now we're living in a time where everybody's judging people, but there's one thing that no one could judge. You know how you feel when you're around somebody. Think of that. And when people can feel that you have love around you, that sense is around everywhere you go. And in real estate, I try to use that approach. I really love people. So, I try to make sure, and I love real estate, and I always try to make sure that that I'm putting their dreams, their goals, their stuff before mine. And that's how my business is going. I've always taken that approach, and it has always served me well.
So I noticed behind you, you have your map of your farm area.
Oh yeah. Behind me, I got my map, and basically I color code. So anything that you see in white is actually the areas where I flip. So my green, and I know it looks red on one of them, but that's basically where I do most of my wholesale, some lease option, and some of those areas are transition neighborhoods that have been transitioning, and I've been updating. So I have a lot of areas where I know where I want to flip. So I know where my rental markets are. So this is what I say. When someone comes up to me, I'm prepared. I got other maps.
He is in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I got maps of other cities, color coding. So I got my office full of stuff. So, I mean, it helps me stay sharp. It helps me like educate people that I'm with. Okay, this is what's going on here. And when, and this is the thing, real estate has taught me something. I know banks are not supposed to redline and all this stuff, but real estate does that. School districts do redline because every school district lets you know wherever you live. Think of it if you have kids, wherever you live determines where your kids go to school. So each school district has a boundary map, and that's what I do. So it's very simple. It's not too hard. Think of middle school scores, boundary maps, your school districts, and it'll pretty much spell out your lower income, middle class neighborhoods and your high end neighborhoods.
So for those of you who are in Real Estate Survivor Quarantine Edition, what are you noticing about his map?
Color coordinated.
Based on?
Well, he just said school districts.
And what's the most important school district that we look for? Or the most important school level?
Elementary school.
And why is that?
That middle school scores, the middle school.
We look for
That
elementary.
4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
We're looking for elementary is what we've been working on. And why is that? Anybody else besides Stephanie?
Because that's where the families feel they can move in, and that's where they can like put their guard down. So that's where families are looking to come and start a family.
Starter families typically buy what type of properties?
Mid-range?
Close.
Starter homes.
Starter homes. So if you are a young family and you're buying a starter home, what type of job, where are you in your income level and your job? Don't overthink it.
Not the highest.
The
You're
beginning.
starting out. Yes, you're beginning. So you don't have a ton of disposable income, but you do want to come out of your last apartment into your first house, right? So, Felix, where is that? Where is your starter home neighborhood in your map?
If I'm moving in in Chattanooga, all my starter homes are right in these areas right here, which is right here. Actually, the last year they had just announced they're going to build a Major League Soccer stadium in that area. So all these areas here, the prices have gone up. And this part right here is North Georgia, basically Ringgold. So I live near the carpet capital of the United States, which is Dalton, Georgia. And Chattanooga is a booming, booming town. So starter areas are right in this area, East Brainerd. When someone's looking for an area that's starter, that you can buy there, live there for 2 to 3 years or 5 years and actually come out ahead and make a good profit, selling it ahead or house hacking, whatever you want to do. Those are the areas that I recommend because I invest in those areas. I put my money in there. So it just helps me when I'm talking to my clients because my money's invested in there. I give them the advice of what I'm doing. So that helps too. And I show them my investments. Hey, this is what I have in this area. This is why I think this is doing well. The school districts are doing this. The young entrepreneur or techies wanting to move in this area. Whatever's coming in the area, I try to just point those things out.
So what are you looking for in that area for flip? What type of, how much are you buying them for? What are you having to do to them? And then what are they selling for?
Okay. I'll give you a perfect example of a deal I just closed last week. I bought it in February for $112. I put $10,000 into it. I sold it but the close took longer than what was in the market. I closed it for $169. So, I mean, it's like I bought it cheap. I bought it for $112, walked away, made a profit of about $39,000.
And for those of you who are agents in the room, it took you how long to do that?
Oh, it took me less than 3 months. I mean, the close took longer than the actual rehab and signing of a contract.
Thank you, COVID. So
yeah, thank you, COVID. And think of it, a lot of the agents think of it. I'm technically a new agent. Think of that. I'm technically a new agent because I really didn't get my license till January. I mean, they all like, okay, they've been talking about doing 1 or 2 deals. They saw my check on that one. They were like, need to listen to this dude.
Mm-hmm.
So and that'd be smart.
So if you were to think of that, $39,000, what price home would you have to sell to get a $39,000 commission?
Shoot, you probably have to sell like a $1 million home or something like that.
Stephanie,
You gotta
Pamela,
think about you breaking down all those. Probably
Yeah.
like a $700,000 home.
Yeah, it's a million plus.
Yeah,
Just over $1 million.
It's probably more than that. Yeah,
Yeah. Because $1 million homes on 3%.
yeah. They cut you.
Yeah, they cut you when it's that big.
1.3
So that's
million
why, you know,
was your
and
answer.
that's why I say when it's an agent, you have to recognize, like, I mean, I'm bullish on America, so maybe I'm alone on that, but I think the next few years are going to be some very profitable years. But as a realtor, I will also say to you that you need to put away for investing. Screw the fancy car. I mean, screw the other stuff. I mean, you should be putting money away because, you know, the ride is not going to last too long. I mean, eventually, you know, if you look at it, we're almost like the 100th year anniversary of the Rolling 20s. But what came in after the Rolling 20s was the Depression. So, you know, always as an agent, I always say, you know, I don't predict, I try to prepare. Because I never know what stuff is going to do. But as an agent, you should be also investing. You're still going to find good deals. You just got to look for them. You got to be active. If every day you're not looking for properties early in the morning, 6 o'clock, whatever it is, the time you get up, you have to do your daily search, your daily hot sheet, your Facebook Marketplace, your Craigslist, what new properties have come on, what expired listings. You got to do all that stuff as an agent. I mean, if you're just going to wait for those cheap leads to come in from like a Zillow call or something like that, now you're not going to make any money.
Those aren't
So you
cheap,
gotta
actually.
be
You
out
spend a
there.
lot of money on Zillow. As a Zillow Premier agent, I was spending
but you
$1,000 a month.
I do agree. But sometimes those Zillow leads, some of them, you know, just calling, hey, I just curious, you know,
Yep.
but
waste your
sometimes
time.
if you're part of an agency, a lot of those leads get distributed
Amongst
by
everyone.
rank. Let's be realistic. They get set off by rank. So some of the leads that if you're a newer agent or you've been an agent but you don't make a lot of sales, you're not going to get the best of the best. So I would say just create your own leads. You could create your own leads for free on Facebook and social media. Because if nobody knows what you're doing, how do I know they want to list with you? How do I know that you help me buy a house? And as an agent, you got to show people what you're doing. You got to show them what you've done. You got to tell them what you're doing. And then you got to show them what you're about to do. So
what is your, you sold that property for 160, is that what you said?
169.
169. Guys, that is just over 10% of what you would have gotten. So as an agent, it's 1.3 million would have gotten you that commission that he made. What is moving faster right now in this economy? High end or entry level?
Okay. Well, this is where I stay in the
That was a
median
pop
home
quiz
price.
for them.
So that I try to stay in the median home price in every area. For an example, I know Florida is going to be different. California is going to be different. So Maryland is et cetera, et cetera. So in Tennessee, or at least in Chattanooga, what I mostly deal with, the median home price is $180,000. I like to stay in that price range. And if I was in an area where the median home price was $250,000, I'll stay in $250,000. Why? Because the average American can afford that house. So you have to understand that there's a difference between a $400,000 house, especially if your median home price is $180,000 or $200,000. That's a different clientele. So for flips, I want a guaranteed sale, or at least something that I know I can sell at a decent price. Or if it went bad, it's a lot easier that I could rent out a property that's median home price. I would still cash flow. For $100,000, you have a $2,500 mortgage, and you can only rent it out for $2,000. You're in the hole. So that's why I try to stay within that median home range, because it gives me the best benefit, and most people can afford those.
So with your profits that you take from these deals, do you typically will them into a 1031 exchange, or do you put them back into marketing? What do you typically do?
I do all the above. Like this one, I'm buying another house next week, so I'm rolling it over. So, you know, I take very little. I enjoy it, you know, with my wife, you know, just we enjoy, you know, and then it's not even like a huge amount, but we try not to eat our profit either.
Mhm.
So, you know, you roll it over because this is the thing. I could grow that even more. So, if you have delayed gratification, which is something we've learned from Robert, it'll actually, I'd rather live like most people want to live like a king or a queen for a day. I'd rather live like a prince for a lifetime. So I can manage my income because I do pretty well and I stay my expenses to a certain level, but then my profit, I roll it over into other deals to make it grow.
Mm-hmm. Let me be very clear. I live like a queen every day of my life.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
you a
being me.
diva.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you know what's funny? I'm saying that, and I just bought my wife a BMW.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, I want you guys to know how big this is. So for those of you who want to know.
But let me say, I bought it used.
Because I was smart. So when I met Felix, he was not at this position he is now, right? When I met Felix, he we were working together at another company, and you were in a very different, you'd come through a very tough time, right? Your
Absolutely.
life started to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went through a time of?
Yes. Do you want me to, like a quick, like what changed?
Yes.
Yeah, basically, I won't go too much into the detail, but basically I signed a bad contract. So went into a partnership that just didn't go well. Basically in 2015, I pretty much lost everything. And little by little, I was able to claw back, reinvesting, lease options, wholesaling. I mean, I was doing everything with little to no money. And, I'm not that it's like some zero to hero story. I hate those. But just like everybody else, we go through tough times. Think of this, like everybody's going through a tough time right now, or most people are, especially when this started. For me, it was no different than 2015. I was like, oh, okay, I've been through this. It actually prepared me. So I was well prepared for this corona, actually, because of what happened to me in 2015. So basically, just hustled my way back. Like everybody else, put sweat equity. There's no way around that. I hate to tell you that. You
got to work hard to actually have a return.
Techniques. It's good to know this and this and that. It's good to get motivated. But if you're not going to do the work, you're not making the phone calls, you're not putting up those I buy houses sign, you're not answering people's questions, nothing's going to change. So think of this right now. The jobs of the next 20 years don't even exist. Think of that. The job of the next 20 years don't even exist. You have companies that are not coming back. But think of this. You have certain industries that we thought that were gone that are coming back. So you're going to have like about 20% of Americans that are in transition. And when transition happens, that's good opportunities. Because now you're going to have other people that are going to have newer jobs, and your job as a realtor is to get them properties. Or if you understand the investing game, as a realtor, you can help people get into properties, whether it's through lease options, seller financing, getting other partners, working with other investors in the area. So, to me, it's a great time and a great time in history, because, nobody has to fake the funk. Nobody has to, make believe that they're doing all this and this. Everybody's at home. Everybody's quarantined, except if you're a first responder. I know stuff is opening up. I got that part. But you know what? Everybody has to transition. And at the end of the day, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. And if you're doing this for your family, if you're doing this for your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your kids, your grandkids, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, who do you have to be? Who do you have to become in order to have what you've always wanted to have? So, stop wasting time. Stop just getting motivated. Start picking up the phone, calling people, asking, do you want me to list your home? You got to hear the word no in order to hear the word yes. So keep trucking, keep just investing in yourself, but keep believing in yourself. You know, you are a difference maker. Many of you here have gifts and visions that haven't yet been fulfilled. And I have it in my heart of hearts, believe this, that God has given each and every single one of you guys in this meeting, and for those that are coming and listening later, that God has given you a gift. And it's your job as the creator that made you is to share that with people. And with real estate, I'm able to share that. As a realtor, I find out that I'm more than just a realtor. I'm a counselor. I mean, you walk through people, like buying a home is emotional. So you're more than just a realtor. You're more than just an investor. To some people, you're their lifeline. And when you start seeing yourself that way, when you start like knowing that you're a difference maker, that every day that passes by, you're affecting someone's life positively, it changes when you wake up in the morning. Now you're happy. You just can't wait to serve. And it's all about that. When you see, as a realtor, when you see investing or when you see your job as serving, it changes your approach, because now people start to matter. You start to care about people's feelings. You start to see people, okay, for who they are, for the greatness that they have. And it'll also help in your pocketbook, because it will bring income, because people could feel that from you. So
How many
I hope
deals did it
these
take
words
for you?
encourage you guys. And I probably won't, if I'll keep talking, I'll keep
Hey,
yapping
Pastor
away, man.
Felix, question for you. How many
Yeah.
deals did it take for you to get back on your feet after you started getting back into investing? How many deals did it take you to
It
get
took
back on
me
your feet?
about a year. It took me to get solvent about like 4 deals.
Mm-hmm.
So to get solvent and then pay back like investors and stuff like that. I didn't have much investors and stuff like that. It was just mostly just debt from stuff that I accumulated during the time. But it took me like a good 2 to 3 years to really turn it all around. But like the first year was the toughest, because I had to face myself. I had to face who was I made out of. And a lot of this quarantine is showing what you're made out of. So so many of you a king bee or queen bee, whatever it is, defend your throne. Find out what you're made of. And sometimes tough times is what you need. Your attitude changes, and your outlook on life changes, and you're thankful for a lot of little things that you normally weren't.
What questions do you guys have for Felix?
Hey, you guys can always add me on Facebook.
No. I
Or
want them to ask
you
you
can follow
questions.
me on Instagram at The House Hispanic. The House Hispanic.
Sylvia asks, are you mostly flipping now?
Say that again.
Sylvia asks, are you mostly flipping right now?
I'm mostly flipping. That's where I'm making most. I mean, Chattanooga is exploding. I don't know how to explain this, but Chattanooga is exploding. Now, we had something that happened about 2 months ago. I know Jacob and Sylvia know about this, is that we had a tornado that ransacked the most desirable neighborhoods in Chattanooga, and I got affected too. My wife's car was totaled. That's why she got a car. So we had 12 trees come down, but at least 1,000 homes were absolutely devastated, no longer around. You have about 500 homes destroyed. Every roofing company, every insurance agent is still out here 2 months later. So what you're having is you have a lot of people that got insurance money that are saying so long to those houses and buying new homes. So homes in Chattanooga are not staying on the market long.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. It sounds like after looking at natural disasters as opportunity is definitely something everyone should be doing going forward. Just like something to keep an eye out on in the back of their head. I have a question. When you wake up in the morning and you're looking for property on Craigslist and Facebook, are you sitting there with a certain criteria? Like I know you said you purchased within your median home price. So is it just like, hey, if I find anything that's in this number, I'm going to take a look at it and see what it is?
I'm gonna give you my formula, man.
Ooh,
And it's very simple. This is about the abundance. I'll share because if I share with you what I have, doesn't take away from me. So it's a very simple formula, and I gave it to you guys. You guys heard it. You look at the median home price of your area. Very simple search. So everybody's gonna have a different median home price. So if you're searching your home price, what you're gonna do is that I'm gonna keep it a simple number. If the median home price in your area is 200,000, my quick search every morning is gonna be on Facebook, Marketplace, Craigslist. Is gonna be in every house that's 100,000 and below. I'm gonna put in the search. Maximum price is 100,000. Minimum bedroom count is gonna be 3, 2 bed, and you're gonna search. And you'll find that some of the houses that I've gotten to flip, that's how I found them.
Okay.
It's that simple. So now you can either do this. So if most of the homes are in a certain area, like there's days that I drive for dollars too. So I'll pick neighborhoods. And what I would suggest is you either pick a skip tracing type of capacity and start looking for ugly houses in areas that look good.
Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you.
So, is that any different than what you guys are learning in Real Estate Survivor?
That's right on par with what we're learning.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Well, guys, did you enjoy learning from Felix today?
Thank you,
Yes.
guys. Woo! I got excited. I got all choked up.
It's always great to have you, man. I miss sleeping with you. I really do.
Oh, yeah. You're the greatest, man.
It was so much fun. But yeah, we have, oh God, one of my kids just walked down and gave me this look. It's like, no, I'm on a professional call. It's okay. No, well, I like my Latin boys. Anyway, so if you guys have any questions about the Chattanooga market, please reach out to Felix. You can find him on Facebook, or you can do the Home Hispanic, and you can find him there.
Yeah, no, please find me. I would love to hook up with you guys.
He's also going to be joining us on Investor Party. So, because he's one of my people, and he's going to love it. He really is. So one of the things that also I want you guys to notice is he is in his market. He has to be home in order to do this right now, to do what he's doing. Now, that being said, you also can do this virtually. I wish I had had time to ask him about those deals, but we'll get there later and have him on again to talk about those things. So when I have my agent training series that I'm going to do, I'm going to actually ask Felix to be a part of that, to be on that panel for you guys. So does anybody have any final questions for anyone else, or any observations, comments, questions, or requests for the chef?
We have one question real fast, going back to his formula.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, Hector's right here. Go ahead.
So in areas where the price is up there a bit, I noticed on that one it was about 50% of the median price. For example, our median price here in the city is $670,000 for sold homes. But would you come down about 100,000 still, or
no? 50%. Cut it in half.
Okay.
Because this is the thing. What you're trying to do is you're trying to eliminate. This is the thing. It's not going to be a perfect method. What you're trying to do is you're trying to eliminate all the other properties. Think of this. You might find a deal in one of those properties. Some of those deals might not be for flips, but they might be great for your investors that want cash flow. Think of it. Think of the 1% rule. So if you could get a home, and that's where, as a realtor, you think, okay, and this is the hard part to really to get that some realtors don't like is you're not gonna find a flip property on the MLS. Sorry, it's already gone. So this is what, as a realtor, I hook up some of my investors with the local wholesalers in the area, but I've also built a relationship with those wholesalers that they know I'm a connector. So they feed me other ways. So, I try to serve people through that way. So, I try to look for the median home price, cut it in half, and do your searches every day, daily. And then, you if you do that every day, it comes like clockwork. You'll be surprised how you narrow it down from 400 properties down to 40. And that's what you need, 40 quality properties.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Felix, you just made my early mornings way more productive, man. Thank you.
It is. If you make it like clockwork, and then think of this. Let's say your Tuesdays, this is how I do it. My Tuesdays is driving for dollars. That doesn't take long. That's like 40 minutes. We drive around anyway. So pick an area, and what you're doing when you're driving for dollars, I use my phone, my voice memo. Hey, I'm driving around, Main Street. There's a house 2131 that looks like screwed up. I won't cuss, but that looks screwed up. I'll go check it out. Hey, I'm driving on this neighborhood. This house here looks like it, overgrown grass. Your eye is trained. An ugly house when you see it. You don't got to pray about it. You know when it's ugly. So that's where you start being logical. Don't make it difficult. Sometimes, it's simplicity at its best. And also I do stuff that, another thing that, the coronavirus has kind of stopped this part of my investing is every month you go to your local county office and you ask for all the code enforcement violations like overgrown grass, trash, abandoned cars. You'll get that. It's all free. And then those people I skip trace, and then I'll send them letters. Like I'll buy houses cash. And like I mentioned, I do advertising now that says, if I can't sell your home, I'll buy your home cash, guaranteed. So you just try to think outside the box.
Absolutely. I love it. I tried going down to the county to get the code enforcement. Unfortunately, our county is super outdated with the way they collect information, and they can't generate a list. So they could give me
But do they have a code enforcement?
They have a code enforcement individual. So I'm actually going to try and hunt him down and turn him into a bird dog.
What you might have to do is get the list however they could get it to you. If it's not in list form, that's fine. And then you just have to adjust it in a spreadsheet. Hey, so I got to get going. But
Thank you so
I got
much.
an appointment to go. So I've enjoyed talking to you guys. You guys can hook up with Jacob, but let me know. Find me at Instagram, The House Hispanic. Sylvia, you are amazing. Great seeing you again. Miss you. And Marie, great seeing you too. Awesome, guys. Miss traveling with you guys on the road. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. So
Don't forget to say hi to Michael.
thank you, guys.
Hey, Felix.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Felix. You're awesome. Guys, you're amazing. I'm going to try to actually see if I can get someone on Friday to either talk about self-directed IRAs or actually how to do tax lien strategies for us. So stay tuned. That's going to be Friday at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, for those in Real Estate Survivor, don't forget you have your call at 8. We're going to be, I want to make sure you guys are getting your calls done, and we are uploading those lists as we get going. And that video is now also up on the platform as well. This video will also be under Party Chatter replays on Investor Party. If you've not signed up for Investor Party, go ahead and do so while you still can. All right, guys, you are amazing. I'm honored to be here leading you down this dance that we call investing, and I will talk to you soon. Be well. I'm going to the gym. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jacob.